Welcome in. Keep Show Podcast, college football podcast, usually coming to you on Mondays. We had a busy weekend. The family joined me in Auburn, so that was a lot. Travel took a lot out of me on Sunday and on Monday. Monday's my busy day with doing Read and React and the radio show. So sorry I'm getting this to you guys late. Just been kind of a lot going on. Conversations that I've had to have with some folks that have taken up some time over the last couple of days and just kind of getting everything set for the next week. But we're here to give you what we saw last week, and I'm sorry that it is a little bit late. As you know, we'll go through every team, all the film. We're brought to you by Wickles Pickles. I am home so I can do this again. We got the jar here. We always keep them. You guys know we love them. Mwah. Wickles Pickles, wickedly delicious. Go check them out in your grocery store. If they don't have them in your grocery store, ask them why not. Tell them you want them there. Tell them you're going to buy them. And then maybe you can go to wicklespickles.com and you can have them drop ship some to you. Let's get into these games. Please support Wickles Pickles because they support us. They got the pickleball paddles. They got the aprons, the hats, gear, T-shirts. You can go pick up anything you want if it's not pickles, which are also incredible. All right, I'm going to try to roll through these games quickly for you guys and give you what I saw, what I liked from over the weekend. We'll start Alabama, Tennessee, third Saturday in October. Alabama gets the win 37-20. Joey Aguilar, 28 of 44, 268, touchdown, interception. Yes, the one interception was costly. It's a bad decision. You can talk maybe play call right there. You can talk the throw. Didn't see the corner coming back across right there. But either way, I don't think that ended up costing them the game. I left this game thinking if it wasn't for the drops, where would Tennessee have been late in the fourth quarter? Because I thought the Tennessee defensive line was disruptive. I thought they found the run game a little more as the game went on. Deshaun Bishop, 14 for 123, had a 44-yard touchdown run, 2 rushing touchdowns. Tennessee only ran for 142, so he did a lot of the heavy lifting there. And the offensive line, I thought, held up. I thought Aguilar had a lot of drops where he had time in the pocket to be able to deliver the football. But there were just a couple of times when maybe Alabama also had time in the pocket. Ty Simpson was able to deliver footballs and be able to move up and down the field. Tennessee just couldn't finish it off. And obviously, you get that kind of momentum shift going into halftime. It's going to be massive. It's going to be huge. A couple of things I like from the Alabama offense first. They weren't going to run the ball. Tennessee wasn't going to let them. 32 for 120 in the game, so that's 3.8 per. And their leading rusher was Jeremy Bernard, which is not supposed to happen. That shouldn't be it. He did have 4 rushes, by the way, which is just a little bit odd in and of itself. Still like what Alabama is doing offensively. So offensive line took a beating. But you got some really good defensive linemen there for Tennessee. You look across the board, and Byron Eason still playing pretty good football. He had offensive linemen in the backfield. You had multiple defenders either out wide or inside able to get a push consistently, and that's kind of why that Bama running game was just stymied early on. So what do? This is why I love Grubb so much. Immediately they go to the extension of the run game through the air. So I'll go back and show you this clip right now. Just one thing that I'm talking about with Alabama, when you can't hand it off right up the middle and get things going, where Ryan Grubb goes. Right, so just one of the ways Alabama uses different ways to run the football, kind of an extension of it. You see Jeremy Bernard come in motion. You run play action to the back. You know that you got those downfield threats. Ty Simpson realizes immediately that coverage is going to be with those deep routes. You can see safety's going to pick up over the middle, man-to-man here. And you just got Jeremy Bernard sitting there, coming across in motion and going to be wide open right there. It's an excellent job of just understanding, hey, we don't mind running the ball in different ways, getting the balls to our playmakers in space, being creative with ways to have high percentage throws and high percentage plays, which run play usually is your most high percentage play. And from that point on, it just expanded from there. And Ty Simpson did have good pockets to be able to work with for a lot of the game. But there were still some good reps that were won on the outside by Tennessee edge defenders. I thought that was kind of a back and forth battle. Joshua Josephs had some good reps. Tyree Weathersby had some good reps, able to get into the backfield. Right tackle still a problem for Alabama, specifically in pass pro. Thought Proctor had a pretty good game. Thought Brailsford had a good game. We saw Vandermark at left guard. Bama's rotating a lot of guys. And I think there's a little rhyme and reason for this. I think you look at one, they're trying to build some depth for the long haul, want to be ready for the postseason. But two, I think wind has been a little bit of an issue for them as well, keeping them fresh later in the game. And that sounds a little odd, but I think that's one of the things that's happening there right now with just the offensive linemen playing time, snaps, different things of that nature. But I go back to Ty Simpson again, man. He just looked fantastic. There were a couple of big throws down the field into tight windows that I just absolutely loved. And you get a different look at some of them, and you just have to keep rewinding and thinking to yourself, man, this kid is just unbelievable. I'll show you this throw right here from Ty Simpson. There's not anything specifically from an X's and O standpoint, from a breakdown standpoint, but just look at this toss. Ty Simpson, bam, right on the money, able to deliver that ball, get that in there, and just show you his accuracy that he's got down the field. All right, we'll take another look at Ty Simpson here, and just heck of a throw, really more than X's and O's. But you get the motion man. It's going to show you man coverage with the DB running across. Protection does, to me, look like it was a quick slide to the right. But it's an excellent job by 77 of staying here with the immediate threat and keeping his eyes out to be able to come off late. This is what should happen in slide protection more often. Gives you a pretty clean pocket, running back helping in protection, but you get this green dog from this backside backer when he sees the running back stay. So that's going to throw some people off track, because obviously you got guard's eyes over here with the slide, and the running back's man was right here. And then tight end is going to be releasing on a route, and that's going to have pressure here. Young tackle should know he's got to be outside on that. Either way, pretty good pocket initially, and don't be like McElroy and say he's buying time. Understands the pressure's coming. So you're going to get this little angle route right here from Ryan Williams. Nice win inside, but he's not even open. And just the velocity on this throw to be able to keep it up and above the DB, ball still looks like it's going up when it gets there. Like, these are the things people aren't really saying enough about Ty Simpson. If you say arm strength is okay or mediocre, just watch this throw and tell me the guy can't make any throw out there. Very impressive. Something I wanted to show you guys that Ty Simpson did that maybe flew a little bit under the radar during the game. So the Alabama offensive line in the run game struggled with vertical penetration. So I think Tennessee just said, we're going to try to get upfield, disrupt, remove the timing. That'll be an ongoing theme in this show, by the way, for multiple defensive lines, and then force you to do something else. The problem is Alabama has screens. They have quick distribution out of the backfield to the backs, receivers in the backfield, then coming out of the backfield. They have tight ends. So I didn't think the tight ends were as involved for Alabama in this game as they had been, because obviously that's been something that we've really liked that Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer have been doing. It just didn't seem like it was as much of the plan in this game. I thought Ty Simpson was nice off play action. I thought he was deliberate where to get with the football when he needed to tuck the ball and go. He was fine doing that, avoided pressure a couple of times, and he just doesn't give you the catastrophe plays. He's not going to take sacks when he doesn't need to. He's not going to throw the ball into traffic when it's unnecessary. If he can throw it away, live to fight another day, he'll go do it. And defensively, I thought you saw a couple of Alabama defenders make big strides in this game. Yanze Pierre kind of showed you he could be a guy off the edge with 3 sacks that can give you that twitch, that speed that you need to sort of change how an offense rules in protection. They're going to designate a back to you, a tight end to you, try to get a chip, maybe slide the protection to you. That can designate one-on-ones for a lot of other people. It can open up things for a lot of other folks. And I thought Kane Womack did a good job of shifting the fronts around a little bit. He got Pierre down inside a few times, not all the way down over center, but a little more inside of the tackle, able to rush in a little bit of a different way. Also, I think Nakai Hill-Green's really coming on for this defense. Somebody that can just be physical at the point of attack, understands how to find the football. I think he's a guy that's going to help. We're going to be calling his name down the road. We're going to be calling 90's name down the road. And then I thought Tim Keenan, too, did a pretty good job stuffing some things in the middle, because you got to play Tennessee with a bit of a lighter box. And to be honest with you, the big runs that Tennessee got were on cutbacks. So I thought Keenum was important inside because he filled a lot of it up without having to dedicate 7-8 guys to the box to stop the run. Also doing that was James Smith. I'm telling you guys, James Smith, 23 for Alabama, has some of the heaviest hands I've seen in college football. Like, when he strikes and sheds, he can just toss guys out of the way. It's really impressive. Overton had a pretty good game as well. I thought with the disruption up front, yes, they allowed a couple of explosives, but you knew you were going to get them at some point in time. Alabama was able to win the game there because they forced the quarterback to be off platform a little bit, and then didn't allow the run to be consistent for 4 quarters, even though they busted a couple of big ones. But I'm going to say it again. I go back to those drops, and I look at it from the standpoint of what would have been. There are no could haves, there are no should haves in football, but there were a lot of yards left on the field from those Tennessee drops, and a couple in very critical moments. It's a nice win for Alabama. All right, guys, don't forget about Roback. I'm sporting Roback right now. Promo code CUBE. Is it Cold 20 or Cube 20? Promo code Cole20 to save 20% on your first purchase at Rhoback. I love these hoodies right here. They actually have the thicker hoodies that I like even more. Not quite cold enough for those yet. Might be this weekend in Lexington, by the way. It's supposed to be in the 40s for our game Saturday night. Go check out the hoodies, the quarter zips, the t-shirts, the polos. They've got everything. And they got your favorite team gear in. All the SEC teams, they have their apparel in stock at Rhoback. Women's apparel now too, if you're looking for a Christmas gift, maybe for somebody special in your life. Go check out Rhoback, rhoback.com, promo code Cole20 to save 20% on your first purchase. All right, we will go to Arkansas, Texas A&M. Man, this is a weird one. I know there was the weather delay. It's a road game. I try to tell people the later the year it gets, the more difficult it is to go play in Fayetteville. Nobody ever wants to believe me. Nobody ever wants to understand what that's all about. A couple of things first with Arkansas, maybe to put some A&M fans at ease, and then obviously to give Arkansas fans a little bit of hope down the stretch. The O-line's coming along a little bit. They're having a little better understanding of that zone scheme, how it operates. And when you have the hammers that they do at running back, like Mike Washington can absolutely get it. Braylon Russell is just a monster, understands how to get downhill. They had a little fullback belly to him, which was really cool because he's 238 and actually kind of looks like, I thought I was watching Pooh Bear Williams from Florida State, like in the late 90s when he carried that one football. It was really cool. Just the play in and of itself, and then seeing the big boy be able to run it. But these guys can go. And they got a good feel for the run, the scheme that they operate in, and they know how to get downhill, and they bounce off tackles. By the way, Taylor Green also bounces off tackles. I thought A&M was a little undisciplined with some of the pass rush and their pass rush lanes. You have to know who you're rushing. You have to know who you're doing this against. Taylor Green goes 12 for 85, 2 touchdowns on the ground, 19 to 32, 256, 3 touchdowns, no picks through the air. He was phenomenal. He was able to move around in the pocket, kept his eyes downfield. Scramble drill was really bad for A&M. And it's an aggressive defense. They have a lot of green dog trigger blitzes. Those linebackers will kind of hover. They see you move. Sometimes they'll come. Taylor Green did a nice job keeping his eyes downfield, finding certain receivers. Big game for Omega Blake. Yards after the catch were nice for him and a couple others from Arkansas. Just couldn't hold on to be able to find a way to get this win. Obviously had their chances late. I go to that Arkansas defense, though. Got to find ways to consistently get to the quarterback in a similar situation there, except maybe a couple more designed runs from Marcel Reed. You have to locate these earlier. And even if you're in man coverage, there's got to be somebody who understands this quarterback can leave the pocket. We're going to have to reroute our pass rush and be able to go get him to the ground or force him to change directions. Did not happen enough for Texas A&M or for Arkansas in this game. Both teams kind of struggled with how they rushed these specific quarterbacks. But A&M ran 35 times for 217 yards. Reuben Owens, nice. Like I said, Marcel Reed, more design runs. And this goes back to what we talked about a couple of weeks ago when Mike Elko told us, listen, we are trying to make him a pocket passer, but when the quarterback run is necessary, we will utilize it. They did that late in the game against Mississippi State. They saw that they needed it in this game, and they were able to do it. Small concern for A&M. Marcel Reed is still missing some layups. There's some throws with a clean pocket and an open receiver that sometimes he's just not making. Maybe that's what it is, and moving forward, you find ways to mitigate that and work around it, and you'll be okay. Here's the good news, though, for A&M. These wide receivers helped him out a ton, whether it was contested catches going up in the air against a DB and making it, coming back to the football, adjusting the route to be able to go attack the ball. Casey Concepcion, Mario Craver, Ashton Bethel-Roman all adjusted well to be able to go make plays and look good doing it. So if you're going to have a quarterback that at times is a little bit off, like he was in this game, and you have the receivers that can adjust and make him right anyway, you're going to be good. I still love the aggressive nature of the A&M defense. They attacked. They didn't slow down. This wasn't a game that they got beat because they just sat back and said, oh, we'll drop 8 and see what happens and not let the quarterback beat us. I like the fact that you go after him. It's just, you have to be a little bit more mindful of who he is, what he's capable of, and how he leaves the pocket. And I think that's one thing that the understanding is starting to come around a little bit more. We talk to D linemen, linebackers in this league, and they'll often reference how certain quarterbacks leave the pocket, not just that they can run. Those specific details, I think, have to be understood a little bit better on this defense against guys like this. You're not going to play many dudes like this, man. Like, you're just not. I mean, this kid's special. Long strider, great straight line speed. And Bobby Petrino's just got something going right now. I'm telling you, this O-line, they're just kind of hat on a hat. They're doing a good job pulling. The backs press the line of scrimmage. They make their one cut, they get downhill, and they're hell to deal with once they get into the open field. And then obviously Taylor Green keeping his eyes downfield on scramble drill is going to throw everybody off. So I love the effort from Arkansas. I thought they played hard. I thought Xavier Story had a great game. I thought Larry Worth did some good things. That second, third kind of hybrid level has the speed to be able to make plays. They just need a little more protection up front. And I don't know if Arkansas has the numbers to be able to give them that. But the play action off the inside zone, the read plays that Taylor Green gives you, the conflict defenders that he forces, it's very difficult to defend. And there feels like there's a little bit of a new confidence with that group of how they're operating, that they're going to be able to move the football. We'll talk about their next game coming up here in a little bit. But a nice win for A&M because you go to a tough place to play. It's a rivalry game. This thing's finally back on campus where it needs to be. And you go through the weather delay. You don't play your best game, and you get a win in conference, get to 7-0. Feel good about that at this point. It's okay. Everybody's going to have lulls. Everybody's going to have letdowns. I don't think there's anything to be upset about, frustrated with here if you're Texas A&M. All right, we'll go Auburn, Missouri. I was at this game, had a chance to go. Really cool. Loved being there. A lot about this game that I want to talk about, but the actual game. First thing Auburn was able to do, spike the stretch play. It had to happen. I asked DJ Durkin about it. It was the first question we asked him in our meetings, and he said, absolutely. He said, we have to get north and south. We have to get vertical to slow this thing down. Guys like Keldrick Falk, Kieran Crawford were able to do that. I'll give you one example quickly of just how you slow the stretch play down and how you're effective of it and how you're effective against it. You go out and try to remove it and force them into something else. So when you do that, stretch play then becomes a little bit more limited or not able to get going. That removes some of the bootlegs, the heavy play action. It removes a lot of the flow of your defense, and that's what it was able to do for Auburn. All right, so we'll take a look at Auburn spiking the stretch play here. Amaris Williams-Tins, who you're going to watch playing this thing vertically, getting north and south. So right there under the pads, shooting the hands, drive that left guard up into the backfield. So Ahmad Hardy doesn't really have a choice. He has to cut that thing back, and then backside gives you good flow with it where he's not able to make the play. So 3 coming all the way backside there. Good job tracking this play to be able to take it out. But 10 obviously is the one that starts this thing, getting north and south, getting vertical and forcing the cut before Missouri wanted to make it. Thought 97, Bobby Jamison Travis had a really nice game inside. I said it on the broadcast. He does not get enough credit. He does not get enough credit for what he does. And he just plugs things up. He penetrates and disrupts. Thought he had a good game here. Probably Robert Woodyard's best game in an Auburn uniform with what he did up and around the line of scrimmage, out on the edges. You also had Keldrick Falk disrupted a little bit up there. Amaris Williams, number 10, disrupted a little bit. Ultimately couldn't disrupt enough. But, I mean, you took an elite rushing game, an elite running back, and you held him to 91 yards on 44 carries. It's impressive, man. And I do think there's a little bit of an aspect of some of these teams the last few weeks, maybe late in the Oklahoma game and then the other full games since then, where teams are kind of dialing it down a little bit and saying, we don't have to be as aggressive with our play calling because they're just probably not going to score. Had to go to overtime to get this one if you're Missouri. Didn't run the ball well for the second straight game, so you do have some concerns. The bottom line is, when teams focus in on taking one thing away, spiking the stretch play, then pin pull's got to get going. Because you think about like the physics of this, if you're striking the stretch play, you're coming north and south, you're coming vertical. Well, one, if you come vertical, I should be able to block back on you and remove you, or I should be able to block back here, pull, and kick you out upfield. And that should open up cutback lanes. So counter, power should have gotten going. And Missouri did go to more gap scheme runs later in the game, and they were working. Problem was the pass game was still a little bit inconsistent. Protecting the quarterback was still a little bit inconsistent. But I'm going to tell you what, Donovan Olugbo is an absolute dude at wide receiver. Freshman had 5 for 69. He can play. Kevin Coleman can play. Marquise Johnson can play. And I want to just take a quick moment, too, to talk about Marquise Johnson. There have been some people that have talked about his antics on the field, some of his frustrations. Tom Hart actually asked Eli Drinkowitz about it, and Eli said, we give Marquise Johnson a lot of grace, man. He's been through a lot. We didn't know the story. And I talked to Marquise's father, who played football at Missouri. He told me more about how he lost his mother about a month before the season. And about a month after that, his half-brother and half-sister lost their father. So they have different dads, but you imagine these 2 younger siblings of his lost their mom and their dad within a month. Well, he financially is now the primary caregiver for those 2 and takes care of them. So you can imagine a little added pressure, a little more weight on your shoulders, just how you carry yourself in your day to day. But they say he shows up, he does things the right way. And his dad told me his mom was his best friend. That was the shoulder he cried on. That was the shoulder he leaned on. That was the person he talked to. And right before the season, that happens. And you got to find a way to emotionally deal with that and figure that out. But has been an awesome role player with his younger siblings, has been a great player on this football team, dealing with a lot. And these are some of the stories that like we just don't hear a ton about. And I didn't get to tell that story during the game, but I wanted to. He made a couple of plays in the game. He had 4 for 26. He had a couple other opportunities I think they missed him on. But just somebody that's taking NIL and doing the right thing with it and making the most out of it. And not saying that's the only thing that he does with it or the only reason he has it, but it's cool to see that that's there for him to be able to utilize it for what he used it for. They stay with their aunt back in Texas, but you know, it's pretty cool to see. And it was also cool talking to his dad to hear his dad reference how good Missouri has been to him, how patient they've been, how comforting they've been, the time they've put in to try and help him and make sure he's okay. And because he's a high school football coach and played college football, played in the NFL, he knows good and well. He even said this in this time and era where teams can just move on from a guy. They've done the exact opposite. So kudos to Drink and his staff for handling that way. But nonetheless, there were some opportunities missed in the passing game. Purbuell was 23 of 40, 252. He did throw 2 picks. One of those picks, just an amazing play late in the game in a must-have-it moment by Jay Crawford. And you had everything in your corner. You had everything going your way at home. The crowd was awesome. The crowd was hyped. They were loud. They were intense. They were into the game. Jackson Arnold looked a little bit better. Some of the quick game was actually there. He was getting the ball out. Now, you give Missouri's defense a ton of credit, too, because they caused problems in this game on a consistent basis. Red zone scoring, a little bit of an issue for Auburn. Some of the play calling may be a smidge questionable once they got down near the end zone, but they had chances to put this game away. Alex McPherson misses 2 kicks. He, by the way, is on a new treatment regimen. He's up, I think, close to 20 pounds since the Baylor game, so that's all great for him. But wheeling him back out there for a 50-yarder after he's gone 0 for 2, I'm not sure that I was on board with that one. That one felt a little, I don't like that move a whole lot. Hated to see Connor Lew go down in the game. Absolutely brutal. Thought his replacement did well. The snaps have got to get accurate, though. There's a lot of timing in this offense with the zone read, with the RPOs. You can't have him jumping and reaching and squatting down for balls on a consistent basis because you're going to throw so much of the next play off. Just not something that they're going to be able to deal with. I did think 23 ran the ball well. And they're down running backs right now. Jeremiah Cobb had to take a big portion of the load, but patient, finding holes, getting north and south, physical, kind of bouncing off some defenders. I thought he had a nice game. Pass protection was pretty good from him most of the time, other than when you slid the protection and put him one-on-one with a D tackle. Don't feel like that's favorable. Why would you want to do that? I don't know. Hugh Freeze and I had a great conversation about slide protection, by the way, and he's pretty much on the same page as me. But that's a story for another day that we'll talk about at a different time. The one big complaint that I had about the Auburn offense, I actually said this in the game also. Every time a team who has a similar offense to Auburn gets inside the 5, everybody starts yelling about shotgun. Get out of the shotgun. Get under center. Do this, do that. My problem is not so much with the shotgun. My problem is with the 2-point stance from the tackles and sometimes the guards. Like you see some of these teams will come down there, they'll get a 4-point stance. I want to try to blow you off the football. And you got tackles sitting there in a 2-point stance. You can't fire off the ball in a 2-point stance. It's not real. It just can't happen. That's the one adjustment that I would like to see made when it gets closer to the goal line. I actually don't mind teams staying in gun because the under center reps are not there. And when you're down on the goal line and you hunker down a little bit more, that ball comes out short a lot of times. Like I can tell you, my quarterbacks always just say, get down under there because you're firing out quick. So the ball just automatically is going to be a little bit short. It's different taking snaps in short yardage situations. You got to do it a lot. You got to get used to it. So that's not a problem for me all the time. But being in a 2-point stance on the 2 or 1 yard line, that's a problem for me. Number one, if you're doing that, you're going drop back pass before it's third down. What the hell are we doing? Number two, if it's a run play, what the hell are we doing? Either way, what the hell are we doing? So that's just kind of my little feeling on that. Don't like it. Don't love it. But man, I tell you, there's something with this team. Hearing Hugh Freeze talk about like the attitude, the demeanor, how emotionally stable they are, it's a little bit alarming. And it's not his fault. It's not the staff's fault. Guys got to step up and make plays. Guys got to understand how to handle big moments. And they have melted in bigger moments at multiple times in the course of this season. Now, Ashton Daniels was ready to go. He told us there was a chance he was going to play. Said if the offense wasn't moving the ball early, they were going to go with him. Saying that again this week, so we'll see how that plays out. They love what he's done in practice. We'll see if that happens and see how that goes. I didn't think Auburn's offensive line had a great game. I didn't think Missouri's offensive line had a great game. Would like to have seen 87 involved a little bit more. I am curious at what Missouri's doing with their tight ends, though. If you watch them before the snap, maybe it was only this game. I haven't noticed it yet. But the tight end will stay back, kind of behind the quarterback a little bit. And when the formation starts to get set, they'll wait, and then they'll go line up. I'm wondering if they're trying to prevent an early beat by the defense of knowing where the strength is going to be. That's the only thing I could come up with. We wanted to hit that in the broadcast, and we didn't. But either way, having my family there, super cool. I mean, just being able to have them there, knowing what that place means to me, walking around on the field before the game, meeting everybody in the TV crew, going in the truck, seeing what the truck looks like, asking questions, hanging out with me, playing with the microphone before the game. Like, it's just, you can't beat it, man. Watching the Eagle fly with them down on the field. It was a special weekend. Got to go to Acre Friday night. Appreciate David Bancroft and those guys getting us in. Chicken fried bacon. If you've never had it, incredible. Had the duck. That was special. And the peanut butter pie for dessert is decadent. It is just, wow, way incredible. But it was just a cool weekend. Kirk Sampson hooked a lot of that up. Really appreciate him making that happen. Looks like we're back in Auburn in 2 weeks. So maybe they all come down there again for the Kentucky game. We'll see how that happens. But really good weekend. Really cool weekend. Appreciate Hugh Freeze. He was very open and honest with us. Told us at one point, he said, he's like, I feel like my coaching has failed Jackson Arnold. But he also laid out the things that are there for him to do. And Jackson Arnold actually told us before we talked to Hugh how many more options he has and how many more freedoms he had than he did in Jeff Lebby's offense. But those decisions are not being made. But the ability to make those decisions are there. So it's a lot. It's a lot for them right now. And we'll see if it can get fixed. It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like the hurdle can be completely cleared. Maybe if you lower it, that's possible. But I don't really know. One other thing I wanted to share. Marquise Gracial, number 33 for the Missouri defense. This dude, man, you talk about, I'm not going to share details of his past because I actually don't think he wants a lot of those details shared, but I'll just tell you this quote from his high school football coach who I talked to. It is an absolute miracle that this young man is enrolled in college, much less playing Southeastern Conference football, just based on what he's been through. Living in cars, living in abandoned buildings, living in homeless shelters throughout his childhood. There was some disagreements with his mother. He went to live with his grandmother, who he still kind of lives with. He kind of lives on his own now, but keeps up with her, and shared some time with his high school coach as well. Didn't pick up football until later in middle school. Wasn't sure if he wanted to keep playing, stuck with it, had grade issues, came into his coach's office one day and said, I'm going to get this done. And he got it done. Drinkwitz is telling us a story about how they go to, I believe it was Jamaica on a mission trip, and said that when they got back a couple of weeks later, Marquise comes up to him and says, I want to address the team about our mission trip and just tell them how it's changed me. He said, sure. Gives him the platform and goes on to tell the team how he used to be a very angry individual, always found things to be mad at, always found things to be upset with, and just said now that he has a completely different outlook on life. I actually caught up with it right before the game, and I appreciate him spending a couple minutes with me because it was really cool to hear his side of this. He said, man, I just being there in Jamaica, seeing how much water meant, how much building supplies meant, how much that changes people's lives, and their reaction when we brought water up the mountain to their village, or wood and hammers and nails up the mountain to their village. He said, it changed my outlook on everything. I realized how fortunate I am to have all this, to be playing football at Missouri, playing football in the SEC, to have teammates, coaches like this, people who care about me, want to help me. It just made me have a tremendous amount of respect for him. And there have been multiple weeks this year that I have looked at one of these SEC football players and said, man, I hope my boys grow up to be like you. I told Whit Weeks that to his face. I said, I wish I could be as happy about everything as you are, and I hope my boys grow up to be like you. Like, seriously. Marquise Gracial, same thing, man. I hope my boys grow up to be like you one day. Because what that young man has been through, the trauma that he has witnessed and been a part of as a child to be where he is now and have the attitude he has, I had to share it here. You guys know every now and then it's not just going to be X's and O's, and we'll share some of these things. And I wanted to share that one because it was It was really cool. Missouri gets the win though, and they're undefeated, a one-loss football team, and they'll head to Vandy for a massive matchup next week. All right, Texas and Kentucky. This is a weird game. Kentucky defense did some really nice things. Thought Arch Manning rushed a few throws. He started to lose a little bit of that calm that he has found in the pocket. And when he is on the move and he rushes balls, they're going to probably be in the dirt and they're going to be left and right. But when he takes his time, he can deliver a good looking ball. He's 12 of 27, 132. His legs helped a little bit. But this game, I thought, was Quintravian Wisener with some timely runs when you had to have it. DeAndre Moore, a couple of big catches when they had to have it. I mean, Wisener had the only touchdown in the game from a rushing perspective. And there were a couple of things, couple of bounces that went Texas' way. Kentucky had some opportunities late. But I think you saw some growth from Cutter Boley in this game. Understanding, hey, get the ball out in the flat. Hit the check down. And he did. I mean, he hit Seth McGowan 7 times in this game. I think 6 of those were probably check downs right over the middle of the field. And for whatever reason, Texas left it vacated and just did not adjust the coverage for him out of the backfield. And McGowan had a couple of nice pass pro reps, by the way, too. I think McGowan made the block party this week on Read and React. But Harley Gilmore, Jamori McClain, both had a couple of big catches. Caddis was great again, man. Caddis means so much to this football team. Like, he is the straw that stirs the drink for Kentucky. Maybe the whole team, not just the offense. Like, the guy's awesome to watch. He really is. Blocks his tail off. Looks goofy as hell when he's running the ball. Like, it's like he wants to be running twice as fast as he is, but he's just giving full effort. He does a lot of the dirty work. He's just a fun football player to watch. But I thought up front, you got good edge work from the Kentucky edges. Steven Souls 35 off the edge. Sam Green off the edge a couple of times early. And I thought Jordan Lovett playing down in the box late was huge for the Kentucky defense. Like, he just showed up when he needed to and made plays. 94 and 60, that's Gusta and Godfrey. Both did a good job penetrating, disrupting up front. The Texas offensive line just got some work to do. I thought 60 had some good reps at left guard. Both guards did some good things, but some of the slide protection just still has its breakdowns, and they're making life really difficult. This was one where, once again, you didn't have as many yards after catch or playmakers make plays once they got the ball in their hand. And Kentucky has a tendency to stay back in some cover 3 and some cloud coverage stuff where you're going to have to work underneath and you're going to have to break tackles. And Kentucky doesn't miss a ton of tackles. So, but for Texas, when it counted, when it was on the line, their superstars made plays. Because Trey Moore and company, Colin Simmons up front on that D-line, when they had to get to the backfield, they got to the backfield and made plays. I wouldn't say they really got pushed around. 46 carries, 137 yards for Kentucky. It was really just kind of grind it out, find what you can here and there every now and then. But I appreciated the plan because it wasn't stubborn. It almost goes back to what we talked about with Alabama. I thought Bush Hamden kind of a little bit early in this game said, all right, we'll flare it out to the back. We'll go quick to the tight end, take your check downs. And Cutter Boley got that messaging and was able to start doing that. You hate that you lost this game. You hate that you lost a couple in a row, but you did see some growth from your quarterback, and you did see some things physically that I still think Kentucky's going to be able to offer up as a mismatch for teams down the road. Texas has just got to find continuity on offense, and they have to find consistency and start playing the same way. If they don't do that, I don't really know what their ceiling is going to be this year. It's not going to be anywhere close to what people believe. Hey, don't forget about my friends at Game Day Men's Health. It's easy to find better sleep, find more energy, lose some weight, lose the brain fog, all at Game Day Men's Health. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com right now. Sign up for the free consultation. See where the closest office is to you. Go in there for the free consultation, free PSA test, free testosterone test. They're going to do blood pressure, weigh you in, get all your vitals, let you know where you are, and then present the different ways that they can help you. Maybe they can get a few pounds off. Maybe they can get you feeling better, sleeping better. At Game Day Men's Health, the peptides are in stock. Your body just continues making those over time. They want to be able to help you out with that. Multiple weight loss plans at Game Day Men's Health. They're now open in Trussville, Alabama. See if they have one near you. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com today. Oklahoma and South Carolina. Oklahoma gets the win 26-7. John Mateer 18-26 for 150. Torrey Blaylock was nice in this game, 19 for 101. Xavier Robinson ran the ball well, 11 for 58. The offensive line's starting to come around a little bit. Hat on a hat in the zone scheme, not demoralizing blocks, not overly punishing blocks, but staying on their combos, like working things to where the backs have an opportunity to make a cut or make a linebacker wrong with being patient. And they were able to do that some. I thought that John Mateer did an excellent job of not overextending in this game. And maybe he did that a little bit against Texas. You saw a couple throwaways. You saw him eat the ball a couple of times. Don't let that defensive line take this game over. I think he heard that, felt that, and did that in this game. Because it wasn't a dominant performance by Oklahoma offensively, and you were in a pretty good position, 14-7 at the half. They put 10 up in the third, and then you're probably just sitting there like, let's just hold out for this one. Two things happened in this game, though, and I'm going to show you both. One, the Oklahoma defense, we've heard Shane Beamer. He told us this a couple weeks ago when we had him. We've heard Shane Beamer say, the quarterback has to be a massive part of our run game moving forward. And he's right, because they can't just go hand the ball off to face on. The offensive line's not good enough. They're beat up. You got some good help from the tight ends, but you're just not a good enough team. They're not a pick you apart passing offense either. Like, the receivers aren't that good. The quarterback can be inconsistent. The quarterback's run game has to be a threat to have success on the ground. Oklahoma said, no, we don't care. They almost completely disrespected Lenore Sellers carrying the football in this game. And I don't know if that was just like, hey, let's put it all on red and here we go. Or like, let's roll the dice and just see what we come up with. Or if that was calculated to the point of they thought South Carolina was going to protect him again and said, oh, well, if he gets 2-3 carries, great. We're taking that guy away. And I'm going to show you this play right here, flying off the edge, being able to make this stop. So here you get the Oklahoma defense. All right, quick example of how Oklahoma aggressively played the backs and not as much the quarterback. I think they went into this thinking they were going to limit Sellers running the football, maybe trying to protect him. So you see that alley defender coming down to be able to make the play. What that does is leave a defender at depth to replace. You can see him flashing to the screen there late. So we'll go to the all 22 shot of this. There's that nickel defender just flashing down quickly against the run, trying to take that out, helps remove it. And your replaced defender, you can see right here, would have been coming in late, giving Lenore Sellers some space and maybe make a pop throw or maybe even make him miss and be able to have more room on the outside. But the way that Oklahoma attacked this thing inside, making sure they took the running back out initially, I think was a nice plan by Brent Venables. The other thing I want to show you is Oklahoma movement. Remember we talked about Texas? The Texas game, that was as static if I had seen that group in years. Well, they got back to who they are. And that's movement like this. All right, guys, let's take a quick look here. I'm going to try to make this as simple as I can. Oklahoma movement against South Carolina. A little kind of a 3, maybe really 4-man game here. What you're going to get slant, linebacker in, and then the replacer from the nickel right there. So if you're looking at the run fit, 44 probably now has contain. Okay, so 52 is going to go probably B gap, A gap from 11, and then you've got gap control there from the nickel who's floating back in. But watch what it does to the center and guard. Once he sees 44 leave, he knows the tackle's got him. Now we have to combo to these two. And when you do that, you're allowing for 11 to have free run at the running back. This is a split zone, so zone across, splitter to take the backside, and then an insert coming back in. I don't know exactly where that insert's supposed to go in, but you see he was going to just lead up in there. And if you're trying to let 56 go and the splitter's going to run past him, he whiffs on him, so that can't be right. A little bit of a bust there by your pullers. Either way, that didn't have as much impact on the play as the front side movement does. So when 52 crosses over, we got to combo that up to here. Because the center tries to follow with him, they're not able to bump this back off to 11 who has free run. It's just a great example on a simple play, what should be a simple run play, where movement causes problems. It's not just 11 being an athlete making a play. This movement disrupts and occupies linemen to be able to trade things off and pick things up, and it's going to end up as a tackle for loss for South Carolina. So the Oklahoma front disrupted this game to the point that it wasn't going to get going on the ground for South Carolina. 34 carries, 54 yards. And I think this is one, too, where they kind of felt like, all right, we can shut it down a little bit. Don't have to be overly aggressive. Satanga had a nice game. Deion Burks, a couple good catches. But they didn't have to be something that they weren't in this game once they got in that spot. And I felt like that's where the game plan offensively went for Oklahoma the rest of the way. And I'll continue to reiterate what Shane Beamer said. South Carolina has to have him be a part of the game plan. Like they can't have him not run the football. Now, the offensive line struggled with that movement. I thought 78 played hard up front for South Carolina. I thought defensively, the linebackers were too little aggressive to the line of scrimmage. Thought that they jumped gaps a little bit. Zero played hard, played fast for South Carolina on defense, but I just feel like sometimes took Fred Johnson out of place and didn't allow him to be exactly what they needed him to be. I thought the edges were pretty good. Brian Thomas Jr., I thought, had a really nice game. Crackbacks were a problem for them. You watch the first touchdown run, receiver cracks. I don't know if they were expecting that. If Oklahoma's done that a little bit this year, they haven't made a living on it. Receiver coming down, cracking, and then you get the pin pull outside. That went for a touchdown. Struggled seeing that just a little bit. But either way, it was a game that I think because of the two plans and how they meshed together, wasn't going to give South Carolina much of a chance. Tough one as the Gamecocks go to 3-4. Oklahoma goes to 6-1. Georgia, Ole Miss. First thing I'll say about this game is I thought the Ole Miss defense looked flat. And it's not just effort. There were some plays where normally they're tracking them down from the backside. There were some plays that maybe they stick with it or the pass rush doesn't die down. But the pad level collectively was higher and the shoulders were turned a little bit. So not taking on blocks square as much as I've seen in the last couple of weeks. Just thought that they looked a little worn down. Having looked at all their snap counts recently to see where they're at, I would imagine starters are pretty high. Not rolling as many guys. That has been a theme that I know that they've wanted to improve upon through the course of the year. But this is the first time that really showed up for me. But Gunnar Stockton was phenomenal. We've got to start talking about Gunnar Stockton as one of the better quarterbacks in this league. And I know he misses some balls. He's going to have balls sail on him probably every game because he's one of those dudes that's still a little bit more athlete than quarterback. Like he has the mentality of just wanting to run over you. So he's going to get extra amped up and they're going to sail. He's going to have that dig that's going to go 10 yards over the receiver's head. Or he's going to have a crosser that he just tries to fire in there. It's going to be a little, 4 yards to the left. It's okay. Because what he gives you everywhere else, you live with that. The flea flicker was an unbelievable throw. And to be able to get the ball back with the defender coming in his face, set up and deliver that ball. By the way, had to read the safety first. And when that safety showed he was going to the left, he knew he had both routes. Single safety, we got it, attack it, and made a beautiful throw. The little hezzy, almost like a Euro step on the two edge defenders coming at him on the zone read, and then he runs past another DB to get into the end zone. He's got the skill set of an elite quarterback in this league, but we never talk about him that way. No one wants to give this kid his flowers. 26 of 31, 289, 4 touchdowns. I think he was like 12 for 12 in the second half with 3 of those touchdowns. The kid's playing out of his mind. He's 10 for 59 on the ground. Tough, aware, threw the ball away, not indecisive when he leaves the pocket. So that pressure broke down some. I mean, I'll be the first one to admit. 52 still got a couple pass rush reps. 5 had a couple good pass rush reps for Ole Miss. 51 was disruptive at times. We know 4 is great up front, but he has not been allowed to rush the passer as much as we probably would like to see him. I thought those players did some good things for that Ole Miss defense, but Gunnar Stockton was able to get away from it most of the time. And he's another one that will check it down to his back and have no problem with that. Now, you had an injury to a wide receiver that maybe is going to hurt down the road, but this kid is operating the offense. And I feel like they're asking him to do a little more every week. You see trick plays, and I think people automatically, if they don't work, they get mad. Well, look at Alabama. They're a perfect example of this. Alabama runs trick plays. They have the guys with the wherewithal to know what to do if it's not there. If you have the maturity and the understanding, you can run these. My favorite part about this game for Georgia outside of Gunnar Stockton was Dylan Bell. Finally letting him be a football player. Like, find ways to get him the ball. Is he the fastest on the field? No. Biggest? No. Best catch radius? No. But the guy makes plays. He makes positive things happen for your football team. You have to get him involved. And I love seeing him involved in this game. Did a couple really nice things with the ball in his hand, down the field, end around. So he's just somebody that can help. He can absolutely help. Now, here's the other good news for Georgia. The offensive line's still not great in pass pro. They're going to get beat. They're going to give some things up. I think slide protection got him a couple of times. But 63 and 73 both had big blocks in this game. Bobo's played pretty good football at center. If that group starts to come around, because one's a true freshman and one's, I know you got 2 first-year starters in there. If they start to mold a little bit and they start to gel as we get close to the end of the line here, just watch out for this team. I'm just saying, because that's been a big problem for them, and they have found ways to work around it. But nobody wants to credit Bobo for that and call him plays around an offensive line that seemingly struggles. He's been able to do that. Defensively, I thought the backs ran hard too. But they've been 3 and 33 have been giving Georgia that all year. No one's had real problems with them. 94 good up front, 52 did some good things up front. The other thing that I thought Georgia did, they gave up catches. Absolutely. Trinidad was 19 to 36, 263 for a touchdown. The yards after the catch, outside of the Deshaun Stribling one on the sideline where he kind of made the move and went for the score, the next longest reception was 32 yards. So you didn't give up a ton of those explosives. They did a nice job of limiting the yards after the catch. And there's going to be 1 or 2 that people are going to see and say, no, they didn't. Look at this guy. From start to finish, they did. They got ball carriers to the ground. And I thought that was what they needed to do if they were going to find a way to win this game. But a lot of positives for Georgia moving forward here. And a team, unlike some other teams we've talked about, that seemingly just knows how to find ways to win games. And that's more valuable maybe than anything. All right, Mississippi State, Florida. Florida gets to win 23-21. Ran the ball well. Jaden Ball is fun to watch in this game, man. He's incredible. 23 for 150 and a touchdown. Loved this play that they busted out early, almost like a super counter. Show you this little gap scheme run that Florida busts out here. Here's a look at that super counter from Florida that we were discussing. You see the motion man is going to come across and kind of be an insert there. Watch the pull from Austin Barber, your left tackle. He's going to get a nice block here. Guard's going to lead out in front as well. Get the hook. There's the lead block, pancake. Jaden Ball just has to make one linebacker miss. Off to the races. It's really cool play design with that motion man. You essentially have 3 pullers coming around, outnumbers that Mississippi State defense, and Bog good enough to just be able to make that thing go. And obviously this block back right here by the right tackle has a lot to do with it as well. So you get that sealed. Defense initially tries to play underneath of the first puller right there, and that gets him reached. And then Austin Barber with a pancake, Jaden Ball making it happen. And that kind of got everything rolling for Jaden Baugh. They had this defense off balance a little bit, forcing them to jump gaps, forcing them not to be able to play things backside. Some cutback runs got them. Defense still played hard, though, for Mississippi State. Thought they gave great effort. Thought Blake Shapen did some really nice things. Obviously, one big mistake late, and Big Boy gets an interception, and that's it. But they got north and south. Brennan Thompson, Anthony Evans, both fantastic for Mississippi State catching the football. The plan was there. The shot plays were there. Blake Shapen had multiple shots that he missed in this game for the Bulldogs that could have even given them more. I thought Lagway getting the ball out quick helped early on, but it was a run game that they leaned on because he got a little inconsistent as the game went on. Mississippi State was able to get in the backfield, disrupt him. Isaac Smith, Rylan Lanier, both able to get back there and cause some problems for DJ Lagway. Florida just took advantage of some missed shots and found some opportunities late to be able to put enough scores on to win this football game. I love them sticking with the run play. I like Mississippi State trying to run through and knock it off and trying to be aggressive against it. It's just Jaden Baugh is something special, and he proved it in this game. So it's a really nice performance from State, a nice win for Florida. So nice they fired their coach. So Billy going to be gone. You'll have an interim and Billy Gonzalez. And I think everybody thinks they know where they're going to go, but I don't know if that actually ends up being it. So it'd be fun to watch this Florida coaching search because that's a big-time program. It's going to be looking for a big-time coach. And they got some big-time talent on that team as well. All right, guys, if you're looking to get back into the hobby, don't forget about my friends at Pizza Pulls. They've got what you need, whether it's NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, a lot of new stuff coming out, but most importantly, college football is coming back on Halloween. That's right. Bowman U Chrome is going to be out, and Pizza Pulse is going to have it, and I'm going to be ripping it. So just go to Fanatics Live app on your phone, search Pizza Pulse. You can go ahead and save, get notified right there. We got the countdown going of college football cards at Pizza Pulse. They're going to have them. They're going to have a ton of it. We're going to be ripping it a lot. Might have a little something special for you. It's a little bit different there. So go to Fanatics Live, go to Pizza Pulls, search that out at the top of the screen, and get ready for college football because we're going to rip it. More information, pizzapulls.com. Follow them on social media, and I'll be ripping college football next week right there on Pizza Pulls. Vandy and LSU, 31-24, Vandy gets the win. Pavia, 14-22, 160, a touchdown, no interceptions. He ran 17 for 86 and 2 touchdowns. He was in his bag. And there has been a lot of credit going around to Diego Pavia, Clark Lee, a lot of guys on this staff. Tim Beck needs to start getting some credit because Tim Beck is the offensive coordinator at Vanderbilt. A lot of y'all probably didn't even know who that guy was. Tim Beck can call a game. I'm going to show you just a couple of things Vandy does here to make life really difficult. Number one, they put defenders in serious conflict. Watch Diego Pavia on this play. All right, we mentioned how Vanderbilt's offense is going to put defenders in conflict. So we'll start with this play from Diego Pavia. You're going to see just a little fake to the running back. Watch immediately, both backers, defensive end crashing. You're going to get a step up from the free safety on this play when he fakes this ball to the running back. All right, so now we've drawn in 1, 2, 3, technically 4 defenders on this play. Watch this little shoulder turn you're going to get after the fake to the run back. Right there. Looking to this receiver out in the flat. So when you give that motion there, Pavia is faking this throw here. Well, what do you get? Harold Perkins and the nickel are going to come up and play that quick throw right there. Well, what does that do when they come up? Opens up space to the tight end right underneath. He's wide open. So Diego Pavia, with manipulation of the fake on this play, is essentially himself with that fake, occupying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 defenders on this play to get this open throw. Just shows you the options that Tim Beck has and how good Diego Pavia is at operating this offense. So you do that, then a couple plays later, you have Eli Stowers one-on-one, and what's he able to do? Get a win on 3rd and 8 to the outside. You're also going to see a new sort of power play that they run where the center and play side guard are going to pull. Like, you have a power run game that you can lean on. And then you got a quarterback that can just improvise and do things. You had 2 receivers also make plays over DBs down the field in this game. So if they're making contested catches, if they're winning one-on-ones, Pavia is putting defenders in conflict the way that he is, and you have a power run game element. I mean, I don't know what you do to defend him. And I'm not saying you can't stop him, because I know how you stop him, and it's you make them play your style game. And your style game needs to be one that's not patient, not sitting around trying to run the clock. Alabama, when they went up 2 scores, obviously you felt like, okay, this game might be over and this might be the end of it. I get that. I understand that. But at the end of the day, if you play their game, they're going to make life hell on you because they have all these options now. And you guys have probably all seen the Caden McConnell block and pass pro that I've put around. He had more than that. And they had other guys on that offensive line that made blocks. They have tight ends that made blocks. Cole Spence made a couple of big catches in this game at tight end. They're just a handful. And they are real. Like, we need to stop asking these questions on First Take and radio shows, whatever. Like, is Vandy for real? Guys, they're here. This is it. It's a good football team. 15 gave them good pass rush reps on defense. I thought 91 gave them some good reps out on the edge on defense. You have 2 backs that can tote the rock. Langston Patterson was good playing downhill. Randon Fontenette was all over the place defensively. They got to the quarterback. They made his life uncomfortable. They forced the ball out quickly. LSU's got to get away from slide protection, man. Like, it's just because it's going to get the kid killed. And he's trying to hang in there and make some throws. And I'll give Garrett Nussmeier credit. He did hang in and make some good throws. And he did hang in there and do some good things. But he just doesn't have a lot of balance offensively and doesn't have a lot of time when they are on offense to be able to deliver the ball the way that he needs to. He's 19 of 28, 225, 2 touchdowns, no picks. They ran 21 times for 100 yards. Harlem Berry looked good for LSU in this game. He was patient. He was with Le'Veon Bellish on the inside zone, just kind of wait, go. Couple good pass pro reps. So don't be surprised down the stretch here if Harlem Berry really gets it going for LSU. Well, if they decide to commit to the run and let him get it going, because that's the part that I don't know if they're actually going to do. Either way, they got some soul searching to do in Baton Rouge, and Vandy's got another good one coming up this weekend. So quickly, as we've been doing, we'll take a look at next week and kind of give you 1 or 2 thoughts as to what to look for in these games coming up next week. All right. So We know a couple big ones, Ole Miss and Oklahoma. I honestly don't know about this game. I think it can go either way. But I'll take a little bit of improvement from the OU O-line, maybe some fatigue by the Ole Miss D-line, Oklahoma at home, and Trinidad Chambliss being thrown off by defenders arriving when he doesn't expect them to. Oklahoma gets a turnover too. I think a lower scoring game. I'll say Oklahoma probably finds a way to win. Auburn, Arkansas. I think Auburn's in trouble right here. I think it's a bad spot for them. I think it's a bad matchup for them. I don't know where the team's at mentally and emotionally. And I think historically, Auburn, Arkansas in the morning has just been weird and don't love that spot for them. I don't think South Carolina's going to be able to score enough to beat Alabama. That offensive line is going to have some trouble with what Alabama has up front. And I think they can keep their edge defenders off balance with some of the quick game and quarterback run. So Alabama should get that one. Missouri Vandy is going to be really interesting because one thing we didn't talk about was Zion Young and that Missouri front and how they disrupted the Auburn offensive line. They can do that again in this game. However, you take Harold Perkins and Weeks and some of these defenders for the LSU defense, and look what Pavia just did to them to neutralize them. Could be similar here. So I actually like Vandy in this spot a lot because I think Vandy can focus in on one thing to take away defensively, and if it's a stretch play, they have the guys that do it. It'll be a fun game, though. Texas, Mississippi State, be careful here, Texas. Be very careful here, Texas, because this is a team that is more physical than you right now. All right, Texas A&M, LSU. I am concerned about the health of the LSU defense heading into this one. Don't know about Whit Weeks and his availability to be able to go. But they have to find a way to make Marcel Reed uncomfortable. If they can do that and force errant passes, get a couple of turnovers, maybe they have a chance. But I really don't like this LSU front this LSU offensive line against this A&M front. And Nussmeier doesn't have the ability to get out of the way of it. I think they'll try a lot more Harlem Berry, but LSU's dinged up on the offensive line. That probably won't work. This should be A&M. And I'll be on the call for Tennessee and Kentucky. Want to see if Cutter Boley can build on some of the things that he did. See if Joey Aguilar and that receiver can find ways to get as open as they were against Alabama, but actually catch the football. That'll be big in this game. So that's the games from the weekend. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being a part. Please subscribe. Please tell your friends about us. Please be back every week. And we'll see you next Monday.